Hello lads, hope you're well. Today I wanted to talk about childhood trauma associated with childhood illnesses and disabilities and things like that. This isn't going to be a really sad or emotional video. I'm not going to start crying on you or anything like that, or at least that's the plan. But the reason I wanted to make this was actually on the 6th of June, so yesterday when this comes out, will be the 10-year anniversary of my latest heart surgery. The reason I wanted to make this is because it's not something that I think is really talked about. I think when people think of childhood trauma, they maybe think of more emotional things that have happened, and I think that physical illnesses and stuff like that and experiences in hospitals aren't necessarily considered when people talk about trauma. And it was something that I literally, until I'm 25 in 2 weeks, and it wasn't something until a year or two ago that I actually accepted that stuff that happened to me when I was a kid affected me for good and for bad, even to this day. So like I said, that's sort of the reason that I wanted to make this video. It's not going to be a negative or sad video, quite the opposite actually, because as you'll see, it's not something that I struggle talking about or something that I find particularly sad. But I'll put up a quick couple of clips of stuff I've been doing this week, just because this is meant to be a bit of a vlog, but that's going to be the topic of what we're talking about today. The first thing I wanted to talk about was how my experiences and everything has affected me over the years. I won't go too much into detail of what I've got because it's not particularly interesting, but I've had 4 major heart surgeries and then 1 brush with something called endocarditis, which was just a blood infection that obviously didn't sit very well with the original heart problem. So I've been in and out of hospital since I was like 4 weeks old. I'm 25 now, and as I said, my last surgery was 10 years ago, and touch wood, we haven't really had any problems at all since then. So I've been relatively healthy for the last 10 years or so. And because of the heart, I'm on something called warfarin, which is a blood thinner, which I'm sure most of you would have heard of. Like, you probably have grandparents that are on warfarin and stuff like that. So the main thing for me that's come out of this is I can't play contact sports. The reason that's always been a big thing for me is both my parents are PE teachers. My dad was a quite good footballer, my mum's a very, very good dancer, and my younger brother is also a very, very good rugby player, and my dad and my brother are sort of those people that can just turn their hand to any sport. I was very lucky that my parents supported me in any sport that I could do, so I did gymnastics and diving when I was younger. I'm reasonably okay at tennis. As I've mentioned in some of my other vlogs, I'm part of the rugby team at my university, but obviously I can only play touch. I can't do any contact, and that's actually, a lot of people think, oh, is it because if you get hit in the heart or something? It's actually nothing to do with that. It's because of the warfarin. If I take impacts in other parts of my body, it can cause internal bleeding and all boring stuff like that. But anyway, we won't get into it. But like I said, that's the main thing that's been a real effect for me, is that I can't play contact sport or any sport to a decent level. Like, obviously, as I said, I'm okay at tennis and stuff like that, but I could never compete properly because I just haven't got the cardio to keep up with sort of a normal person. And I'd say when I was younger, that was the main thing that really bothered me, especially when my brother started getting into rugby and becoming really quite good at it. I did used to sort of envy him a little bit, I suppose, not in a mean way, but just in the fact of, yeah, I really wanted to play as well. But when it actually came to the sports side of things, the thing that hurt me more, and something that I hadn't realised, as I say, until sort of the last few years, was more the fact of, because I do love sport so much, but I couldn't play it, not being able to play sport makes it a lot harder to meet friends who like sport, because a lot of those people play sport. So if I'm not in those teams, I don't meet those people. So what I actually struggled with a lot was, until I sort of got to my 20s, I didn't actually really have many friends that love sport. I had, like, obviously in England, in the UK, nearly everyone at an all boys school likes football, so I had a few football mates, but I didn't really have any mates that I could go and play a round of golf with, or go and knock a tennis ball about with, just because I didn't meet those people, because I didn't go to any sports clubs. And that was partially my fault, because as I said, I could play the sports to an okay level, and if I'd really wanted to, I could have gone along to tennis sessions and just accepted that I was probably going to be the worst player there, or one of the worst players there. And my parents were always very supportive, and they would have taken me if I'd wanted to, but I used to throw a massive strop about it and used to really let it get me down. So I didn't join in those things. That was sort of how it affected me on that side of things. As I say, at school, I think going to an all-boys school as well, a lot of bonding is done over sport, and the fact I couldn't play sport, I did struggle to make friends, yeah, really until I was sort of like 17, 18, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, I had a few friends, but it wasn't until I actually went back a year as well, so it wasn't until I got to sixth form that I actually started to make a few friends, and there's still people I keep in contact with now, and weirdly enough, my main circle of friends now are actually all people I went to school with. We just weren't really, I wasn't really in their group when we were at school, but now we're all fine. So that was something that definitely was a result of the lack of sport, which came from being in hospital and everything like that. I'd say the other thing was, I don't know how it affected my education in certain ways. I'm not at all going to say that if I didn't have my heart problem that I'd have been a straight A student by any means. That is not even a little bit true. I've never been good at the writing or reading side of things, quite frankly, and I was never good at exams. But what I didn't realise until recently was how much it actually hit my confidence. And you wouldn't think that having a medical issue would affect how you perform at school confidence-wise, but looking back, it really did. I really, right from a young age at primary school, I just got it into my head that I wasn't very good at stuff, and that translated into my schoolwork. And unfortunately, it wasn't something I ever really fixed before I left school. I left school with very okay grades. That have now, as you know, got me into university, and thankfully I didn't try and go to university as soon as I left school, because I think I would have just made all the mistakes that I made when I was at school. Now, sort of 5 years after I've left school, I've gone and worked, realised that there's more to life than exams, and that there's other ways to measure intelligence, and I've sort of got a bit of that confidence back in myself, which has allowed me. I'm now writing full-on psychology essays. They're not the best essays in the world, but they're a lot better than what I was doing at school. So I'm just checking my notes because I keep going off topic. But my point is that, like I said earlier, I don't think it's really talked about, and I think if kids feel like they have got an innate lack of confidence from childhood trauma or childhood surgery and stuff like that, that they're not allowed to carry that into the education world somehow. And sometimes it does go a different way. Some people who have childhood illnesses and stuff like that, they become complete bookworms and they really excel in their studies. I've got a lot of friends who I went to the British Heart Foundation with that are doing incredible things. My friend Katie's just become, she's a nurse now. I've got another friend who's up at Durham, which is a very good university, doing, I think, journalism or something like that. And some people go completely the other way, where because of they use that time that they were in hospital or at home to really enhance themselves, and that's brilliant. I wasn't one of those people. I was the guy who sat and played Football Manager and FIFA for hours and hours, which is partially on me, I suppose. But yeah, that's sort of the main ways I'd say it affected me. It wasn't so much the physicalness of the fact my heart didn't really work. It was more the things that it led on to because of the opportunities I missed out on. Yeah, like I say, I think that's everything sort of on that section. Next section I wanted to talk about was sort of a roundup, but basically, would I change anything? So that's coming up next. As promised, final section is the question of, would I change anything? Easy answer, absolutely not. Not even a little bit. I think my parents would very much disagree with that, as poor people that have had to sit through the last 25 years, not sure how long we're going to have a son for, but for me, absolutely not. Would not change anything in the world. It has completely made me who I am today. I'm a healthy, happy, nearly 25-year-old lad who, yeah, I have my medical problems, but I wouldn't say if you looked at me that you'd think I was in any worse physical shape than anyone else. And that is a lot due down to my parents. They always gave me a lot of love, but there wasn't a lot of sympathy in the fact of they never let me use my heart as an excuse. Because there was no reason that I couldn't have played tennis. I ski, I go to the gym quite a lot, which is something I'll talk about in a minute. And even in the first lockdown when they were doing those 5k challenges, I always said, well, I can't run 5k because of my heart. My dad was like, nope, come on. And he dragged me around. Then I'd started on 2k, 3k, and I used to fall over and throw up, but in the end I was doing 2 5ks a week. So yeah, that is a lot down to my parents. But the other sort of reasons is, like I say, it's made me who I am today. And the thing that I look at realistically is, yeah, I might have done a bit better at school, I might have made a few friends earlier, but I'm certainly not lacking in friends now. Good friends who support me through who I am. And when I put out a post about 10 years since my operation, I had some really nice messages from a lot of people, friends who respect that I can't do everything, but that I have been through a lot and do everything that I can when I'm able to. For me, the only thing that would be different is I would have played sport. I like to think I would have. Who actually knows? But I like to think I would have played sport and been reasonably good at it. Would I have ever become professional? Probably not. If we're being realistic, probably not. So would I go back 25 years and get rid of something that's made me who I am for the 1 in 10,000 chance that I might become a professional athlete? No. In shortness, there isn't even a debate on this. There has never been a time that I can remember where I've gone, oh, I wish I didn't have this, because it genuinely does not bother me. And yeah, like I said, I think my parents would think differently. It's put them through a lot of stress, and my brother and family, and even some of my friends. I'm sure it's put them through some stressful situations over the years, but yeah, I would not be the resilient person I am today if it wasn't for everything I've been through and the things I've seen. And in ways it puts things into perspective quite a lot, because especially when I look back at some of the photos and remember some of the stories, all of a sudden a deadline at work or getting likes on Instagram or whatever all of a sudden doesn't seem as important when you've sort of seen how bad things can get. And I definitely do look at things through that perspective sometimes, and sometimes I catch myself being silly, getting upset about stupid things when I go, actually you're much bigger than this. And like I said, it's helped me put things into perspective and stuff like that. I wanted to do a little section on going to the gym, because this video wasn't just for me. I wanted to talk because it's obviously about my experience, but I'm hoping the people that watch this video, maybe other people that have been through similar things, or are going through, or found out they're going to go through similar things. My advice, and I don't want to get sued, I'm not a doctor, I have no medical qualifications, but my advice would always be fight back. And the reality is, a doctor will never be able to tell you that, because they are a medical professional and their career depends on basically playing it safe. Their job is to keep you okay and alive. Their job is not to push you to that next level, because they're a doctor. They're not a PT. I could easily have just withered away physically. Even if I was alive, I could be nothing compared to what I am now. But my parents didn't let me, basically. And the more I've gone to the gym, the stronger I felt, and the healthier I've been, without question. I'm probably healthier than I was 10 years ago when I was having straight after I'd had the surgery, because I have just got on it. And I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm not a male model or anything like that. I don't have an incredible body, but I and for what I have, I am strong and I'm very healthy, and that is always the advice I give to anyone else. Do as much as you can. Be safe, be sensible, and listen to your doctors, obviously, but don't ever just use it as an excuse to just give up and not keep active and not keep healthy. Because for me, that I don't think I probably would be here if I didn't have that mentality. Because what is the point if you're living but not really living? I probably, for someone who has a heart problem, I probably have too much to drink, but I want to go out with my mates and I want to have a good time. And that's not to say you can't go out and not drink. And sometimes I have a few weekends in a row and I go, yeah, should probably chill out a little bit and then have a few weekends off. But I'm never gonna let it beat me, and I'm never gonna let it stop me being the person I want to be. And the unfortunate reality is, if that means I live till my 40s or 50s but live a really good life rather than living to my 90s but playing it safe, then I think I know which one I'd rather do. And as I say, my friends friends and family are everything to me, and I want to be out and about with them as much as possible. So as I say, if you are someone who's got something like this, or you're going to, or whatever, find out what you can do to just keep active and keep going. Anything you can do, even the little things, just daily habits, would certainly be my advice. Just see if I've missed anything off my list. Yeah, I don't think so. That's pretty much all for that section, so I'll just do a quick round off at the end. Thank you for sticking all the way to the end, guys. Appreciate this was a bit of a longer one today. Apparently when I get on camera and just start talking, it can go on for a while. Who knew? But I thought it was, as I said at the start, I thought it was an important video to make. Didn't want it to be a sad video because I'm not a sad person, and I don't think it needs to be sad. There will always be sad elements to childhood illnesses and things like that, and I totally appreciate and respect that some stories aren't always as positive as mine. In many ways, I'm very lucky that mine isn't worse than what it is now. But again, I'm guessing if you're watching, this is something that you've had on your mind and you've thought about, and I've thought what I had to say today would be useful. If you like the content, feel free to drop me a subscription, subscribe, whatever you say. Like, comment below any other advice you've got for anyone else, or if you want to get anything off your chest or any experiences. I drop a new video every Monday and every Thursday, so yeah, if you like listening to my long rants, then it would be good to have you around. Yeah, I think that's everything, so I will see you in the next one. Take care, lads.